Good evening. Welcome to our Sunday night spotlight. This evening, as usual, we have an insightful look at a letter that I came across on the internet. I have preached on several occasions about this letter. And this letter has struck me as something worth the while. I believe if more people come into view of this letter, the more people read this letter and deeply consider the contents, I believe we would have learned something about life. And I say that to suggest that irregardless of our status in life, there are lessons to be learned from this letter. This letter is purported to be written by Mr. Steve Jobs, one of the wealthiest individuals in the world. He has since passed a couple of years ago. He has impacted the world like never before. He has impacted the world in a way that his mark will always be an indelible mark on the universe. He has brought about the iPhone and the iPad and the Apple. These are highly regarded, very popular instrument, and the Apple brand is a big brand. I think it was one of the biggest, the first brand to hit the $1 trillion mark. And so in that respect, Mr. Steve Jobs have left an indelible impression on the human race in the 21st century. Nevertheless, this letter that I have entitled "The Most Expensive Bed" is a letter that I came across, and I have read the contents on several occasions. And I have preached sermon in using this letter to speak to the human race, to speak to people's heart, to speak to the human element that must be front and center in our daily existence. This letter is one of those things that I have preached, like I said, several sermons on this, using the contents of this letter. And I have always had positive feedback in regards to how impactful this letter is. So I want to begin by, we will discuss this letter in stages. We will go through it until we get to the most important part, and that is the question of what is the most expensive bed. In this day and age, as we see, there are millionaires and billionaires are getting younger and younger with each passing day. In fact, it is the development and the advancement of technology makes it easier for people to become millionaire and billionaire. Gone are the days when we hear that someone is a billionaire, we would think it's somebody in their 60s and in their 70s. Or gone are the days when we hear that somebody, as we see, have a PhD or a doctorate. We would believe that person is in their 50s and 60s. Now we have PhDs in their 20s, PhDs in their 30s. So things have drastically changed. And in so doing, the contents of the letter speaks to the different facets of the human race. It speaks to what is of most importance, if only we could pay attention to the most meaningful things in life. So there are more millionaires and billionaires in this day than any other age in our history. There are more billionaires and millionaires than any other time in Earth history. And against that background, I believe Steve Jobs was speaking to people in this upper echelons and category of life. The letter begins with a declaration. And it says, I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In others' eyes, my life is an epitome of success, he declares. However, he was quick to point out, aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, he states, wealth is only a fact of life that I am accustomed to. I cannot verify that this letter, I have searched and I can't verify whether this letter was actually written by Mr. Steve Jobs. However, looking on the internet, it is attributed to him. I want to make it clear that I am not emphatically declaring that this letter was written by Mr. Steve Jobs. But the letter is alluded, it's purported that he wrote this letter. That's not my concern. My concern and our discussion this afternoon, this evening, is the content of the letter, which I believe is very meaningful in the kind of existence we have today, the dynamics of the world and the culture that we face today. He declared that aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, the letter declares, wealth is only a fact of life that I am accustomed to. That I am accustomed to. Suggesting that there comes a time when wealth will lose its meaningfulness. Wealth, no matter how much, has its limitation. After making that declaration, the contents of the letter is here speaking to the purported writer on his sick bed in the last rounds of life. And he went on to declare that at this moment, lying on the sick bed and recalling my whole life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of impending death. I want to go over this and emphasize this portion. It says, I realize that all the recognition, or better yet, he said, lying on the sick bed and recalling my whole life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of impending death. This letter is suggesting that wealth and power and fame has its limitation. Money has its limitation. There's some things that money cannot do. This letter will explain that. It says, in the darkness, I look at the green lights from the life-supporting machines and hear the humming mechanical sound. I can feel the breath of the God of death drawing closer to me. You see, it gives a picture, a picture of life and how valuable it is. We take it for granted. And as I do these Sunday night spotlight, these topics really drive home to me the essence of life, the value of life. Some people believe that life is all about wealth, fame, popularity, money. I want to suggest that those are periphery compared to the real purpose of life. He says, in the darkness, I look at the green lights from the life support machines and hear the humming mechanical sound. I can feel the breath of the God of death drawing closer. This part of the statement really strikes and rings a bell. I wish that many of us who are pursuing wealth at all costs, pursuing fame at all costs, pursuing material gains at all costs. He said, I know, when I have accumulated sufficient wealth to last our lifetime, we should pursue other matters that are unrelated to wealth. In other words, matters that are more valuable than wealth, more important than wealth. Then he gives some heart-stopping advice. He said, non-stop pursuing of wealth will only turn a person in a twisted being just like me. Will only turn a person in a twisted being just like me. This statement was made in a different way by someone, man by the name of King Solomon. King Solomon made this particular statement in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, 7 to 8. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 7 to 8. And it's important that we pay attention to this particular statement. Listen to what King Solomon says. In Ecclesiastes chapter 12, 7 to 8. King Solomon says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, said the preacher, all is vanity. Suggesting that wealth, power, fame are but temporary. Not just only temporary, but they have their limitations. You see, the letter went on to say, God gave us the senses to let us feel the love in everyone's heart, not the illusion brought about by wealth. I mean, you can't live without money. Money is essential to day-to-day existence. Those who don't have money find life harder. But on the other side, those who have money never seems to live comfortable. You see, God gave us the senses to let us feel the love in everyone's heart, not the illusions brought on by wealth. Now, this individual, the letter is purporting, attributed to Mr. Steve Jobs. It is suggesting that there are way more important things than wealth. Way more important things than the accumulation of wealth. It went on to say, the wealth that I have won in my life, I cannot bring with me. What I can bring is only the memories precipitated by love. He said, that the true riches which will follow you, accompany you, giving you the strength and the light to go on, says the letter. You see, love can travel 1,000 miles. Life has no limit. Go where you want to go. Reach the height you want to reach. It is all in your hands. And then, the $10 million question. The $10 million question. What is the most expensive bed? What is the most expensive bed? That's a question that we can all ask ourselves. What is the most expensive bed? You see, this question is a powerful question. I want to suggest that this question is a question that should stir the heart of every single human being. What is the most expensive bed? You can employ someone to drive for you, make money for you. And the answer to that question is, you cannot have someone bear sickness for you. See, suggesting that the most expensive bed is the sick bed. The most expensive bed is without a doubt the sick bed. Material things lost can be found. But there is one thing that can never be found when it is lost: life. When a person goes into the operating room, he will realize that there is one book that he has not yet finished reading: the book of a healthy life. But he went on to remind each and every one of us, whichever stage in life we are right now, with time, we will face the day when the curtain comes down. So, in that regard, advice is given. The best advice is given. It's a treasure love. Love for your family. Love for your spouse. Love for your friends. Treat yourself well and cherish others. You see, there are three most important points to be taken from this letter. 1, life, fame, wealth has its limitation. Sickness is something that sometimes, no matter the amount of money you have, cannot cure you. Thirdly, no one will bear your sickness for you. No one can or will bear your sickness for you. So, I can make it abundantly clear that there are persons who have been diagnosed with debilitating disease like 4-stage cancer. And as the doctor may give them a limited time left to 2 weeks, some people get 2 weeks, some people get 3 weeks. No amount of money can reverse that. Not only no amount of money can reverse that, no one can lie in your sick bed for you. And that makes the sick bed the most expensive bed because no one can pay for it. No one can pay for it. You see, I want us to understand that there are more things in life than wealth, fame, the precious and finer things in life. Because like the good book tells us, reminds us, we came from dust, and dust we will return. We came with nothing, and nothing we will take with us. You see, in that context, we can clearly see that the sick bed is a most profound declaration. Against this background, the sick bed is the most expensive bed. So I want to use this letter, the contents of this letter, to remind us about the finer things in life. Finer things in life: treasure your love for family, treasure love for your spouse, treasure love for your friends, treat yourself well, and cherish others. These are invaluable. While each and every one of us are guaranteed a spot in the earth, we will go back to it one day. Every single one of us have an appointment with the most truthful individual ever. I want us to understand that whilst the most expensive bed is the sick bed, no one can pay for it for us. We can do and live our life by treasuring love for family, treasuring love for spouse, treasuring love for friends. Treat yourself well and cherish others. In that regard, life, we can change some aspects of our life, and we can leave an indelible mark that our character, our life story may linger for a while yet, while we are gone. I want to say thank you for being here with me this evening as I go through these delicate but profound issues on Sunday Night Spotlight. We will look at more of them. Like next week, we want to take a look at, is morality dead? Is morality dead? We want to take a look at that next week. We're going to use this Sunday Night Spotlight to spotlight some sensitive issues, some human issues, and see if we can look at these issues in a positive way and recalibrate our thinking around how we live, how we do. How can we change the dynamics of the society that we live in, and how can we do it in a humane, forthright way so we can impact people. So whenever our time comes to engage the most expensive bed, it will be done in such a way that we will understand that we have played our rightful role in society. And we have done all we possibly could to leave an indelible mark behind us when we transition to the other side of life. Treasure love. Live fruitful. Give love. Share love. And so we can use that to leave some life in this world. I want to suggest that as we meet this world that seems to be get colder and colder as the days go by, I want us to bear in mind this particular letter. The most expensive bed, and see if we can do something before we reach that stage to engage the most expensive bed. Treasure love and family. Care for each other. Remember the less fortunate, and to make life a little better for us, for others, and for the human race at large, as we take our space and take our place to leave our experience in this world, to leave an impression, a positive character impression in this world. I want to thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being here, Mr. Jason. It's a blessing to Sister Joan. It's a blessing to see you here this afternoon. We're on our Sunday night spotlight. We take a look at some deep human personal issues. I want to say thank you for being here, and may God bless you as we transition, as we come to the end of this presentation. Simple, small, concise. The most expensive bed, no one can pay for it, is the sick bed. God bless.